Hi, and welcome to a brand new episode in the Programming in Java series. In this series, we're going to tackle a problem called word pattern. So you're given a string pattern, and you're also given another string with words in it, separated by spaces. So you want to see whether this string follows the pattern. For example, A, B, B, A, dog, cat, cat, dog. That is true. However, you might have A, B, B, A, dog, cat, cat, fish, in which that doesn't fit the pattern, so that's false. So let's see whether we can program this. To program this, you need something called a hash map. So what is a hash map? A hash map has a corresponding key and value pair. So each key has a value, exactly like a dictionary in Python. So you can see here the name Becky corresponds to 18. And also here, Mona corresponds to 18, Charles corresponds to 25, Alice corresponds to 35. Each key only appears once, but the same value can appear for multiple keys. So we also have to be careful on that. Some important functions is the declaration. Hash map, this is the data type of the key, and this is the data type of the value. And then you put the name of the hash map, and then new hash map value, comma value, which is going to be the same, parentheses, semicolon. You can also put a value in the array. You put a key, comma value, so you add something to the hash map. You can also do contains key, which will see whether the key is already in the hash map, and you have the same thing for contains value to see whether value is already in the hash map. And then you can do hashmap.get, which will get the value in this key's position, because remember, keys don't duplicate. So let's actually use this in our program. So first, let's convert pattern into a char array, and so that we can create a hash map per character. And let's also convert the string into a string array by splitting it by a space. Now that we have this, if the path.length is not equal to the words.length, we automatically know that it doesn't fit the pattern. So let's just return false. And now that we know that they have the same length, let's create a hash map, which has each character corresponding to a word. So we can see whether in a duplicate character, once a character comes up again, whether it has the same string. And then to do this, just put a java.util.hashmap, just import that into your program. Now let's iterate through every single index. There's two scenarios when you first iterate, whether the hash map already has this key value and whether it doesn't. So let's check that. So if it does, we'll do something a little bit different than if it doesn't. So let's add this if and this else statement. If it does already have this value, then we should see whether the word is the same as the word that we put in the hash map. So if connection.get pat of I dot equals the words of I, that means that they have the same. So I'm just going to do this so that if they're not equal to, then I'll return something, just so that we can have a little bit more consistent. So, okay. And then here we'll return false, meaning that the word that we're given is not the same as the one we put in the hash map, meaning that the pattern's false. The reason if it was true was because maybe later in the pattern it was false, and that means that we're returning it true when it was actually false. But if it was false once, it'll be false for the whole pattern. We also have two scenarios, because let's say that we have A, B, B, A. We know, and we had dog, 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 dog as the string. We know that A has dog, so B cannot have dog. But we still need to check that in our program, because our Java program doesn't know that. So in the else statement, we can do connection dot contains value words of I. So this sees whether this words of I is already in the hash map. And if it is, we're just going to return false, meaning that we're assigning a value to a letter that's with a duplicate value, meaning that like if A had dog and we're also giving B dog, so that's not fitting the pattern. And then in the last scenario, we just need to put the value inside the hash map because there's nothing wrong with this new value. Phew! Now that we've done all this test casing, I think it's finally okay for it to return true. Let's test our program. I created this println statement at the end where ABB is the pattern and dog, 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 dog is the sequence, just because we were really cautious about that right here. When I run this, you'll notice that it returns false, which is good. But if I put cat cat here and I run this, then it returns true. So now that we've created a successful program, I think it's finally time for you to go try this out. See you next time!